Blackstone Audio presents The Invisible Wall, a love story that broke barriers, by Harry Bernstein. Prologue. Outwardly, I suppose, our street looked pretty much the same as any other in the working-class section of a Lancashire mill town did in those days. They were all dreadfully alike, with their endless, sad rows of houses facing one another across the cobblestones, the brick darkened by age and soot, the short, stubby chimneys jutting out of slate roofs into murky skies, along with the tall, slender stacks of the mills that were sometimes half buried in the smoke and clouds. Early in the morning, when it was still dark, you would hear people going to work in these mills, their iron-shod clogs clattering over the cobblestones with a sound and a rhythm that was like a symphony. It began rather quietly, as the first few pairs of clogs stepped out of the doorways, then became louder as more people joined, and louder still until it was like a storm of hail, and finally reached a crescendo with a simultaneous blast of whistles from all the mills. It then softened as they entered the mills, and died out to silence again. I often lay awake in the bed I shared with my two brothers, listening to these noises. I would hear them again when they came home in the evening, but the sound was different from the morning, quicker and more staccato. If it was summer and still daylight, I might see them, the men carrying empty dinner pails wrapped in big red spotted handkerchiefs, the women wearing striped coloured petticoats and shawls, with little bits of white fluff stuck in their hair, looking like snowflakes, and all of them walking separately from one another, too tired to talk, probably, and all in a hurry to get home. One by one they would enter the houses on the Christian side. One by one the doors would open and close, and finally, as in the morning, there was silence again. Our street was smaller than most. It had just one long row of houses on one side, and two smaller rows of equal combined length on the other, intersected by another street called Brook Street. It sloped slightly on a hill that began far up in the better section of the town. It was a quiet little street, hardly noticeable among all the other larger streets.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?